This is my guide to cooking with spice.
Next up, my shopping guide to buying spices.
When I buy my spice, I only want the best, and it always pays to get expert advice. Birgit Ereth has been selling every spice under the sun in London's Notting Hill for over 20 years, so she really knows what she's talking about.
I love spices, the smell, the texture, the color. Spices are so versatile. Something very, very simple can be really transformed into something really delicious.
With thousands of aromatic ingredients on her shelves, if it smells good, she sells it.
If you buy spices, buy them whole. Then you can dry roast them, grind them when you need them, and then they will release the essential oils. Whole spices you can keep for years. Give them a good brushing wine bottle with your rolling pin or whatever, and you see there is still aroma, and you can taste it, you smell it, then it's fine. There's 4 main spices. One is sweet, one is sour, one is bitter, and one is hot. This is cinnamon. And that is really a great example of a sweet spice. When you buy a cinnamon quill like this, you have to check that you have loads of different layers in here. Then you can either grind this or you'd break a piece off. I mean, this doesn't smell of anything now, but if you roll it in your hand, just quickly like this, and then you smell it again, this is just unbelievable. If you have spaghetti bolognese, put a pinch of cinnamon in it to bring out the flavor. Sumac, this is one of those really special spices. Sour, like a lemon, but it has a salty aftertaste. I use this anywhere from marinades to salad. You haven't lived unless you tried it. A great example for a bitter spice would actually be turmeric. This is actually a root. It grows in the ground like ginger. Use it very, very sparingly. About that much will actually color you a curry or a rice dish, wonderful yellow. Watch your fingers, you get really yellow fingers from it. And then we come to the hot spices. One spice that I couldn't miss, and that is Hungarian paprika. Paprika is the powdery form of a bell pepper. What makes the Hungarian paprika different is that they actually grow it on vineyards. It's sort of between the vines. It has a sweetness and it has a sharpness to it. I have it in ice cream, I have it on fish, I have it everywhere.
Birgit's spot on about the power of spices to transform dishes, whether savoury or sweet. Here's my quick guide to the spices I use most. Black pepper. This is the spice I couldn't do without. Always buy it whole and grind yourself, so you get the freshest flavour. Cardamom. These pods come in green or black types and have a fantastic spicy sweet taste. Brilliant for everything from curries to rice dishes and puddings. Coriander. These citrusy seeds are perfect whole in pickles or grind to use in fragrant stews and soups. Cumin, a savoury spice that's pungent and nutty. It's great in marinades for delicious meat and fish. Then cinnamon, sweetly fragrant and great with apples or in cakes. And nutmeg, warm and spicy, it's delicious in a bechamel sauce. Finally, saffron. These sweet strands infuse a brilliant bright red colour and are great in risottos, and even though it's more expensive than gold, a pinch goes a long, long way. Store your spices properly and they'll last for years.
You keep it airtight in a tin or in a glass jar in your cupboard. Don't be scared of spices, like an aftershave or a perfume. You have to select it yourself. It has to fit in with your taste and with your kitchen.
Supermarkets and good local shops sell an amazing array of different spices, so there's no excuse for not being adventurous. Be bold, find what you like, and spice up your cooking. Like all chefs, I love the challenge of transforming classic recipes, giving them a new twist to make them modern and vibrant. To keep old dishes fresh and exciting, it's great to get spicy. My next recipe is a time-honoured British classic, but with the addition of spices, it's given a new lease of life. Fragrant spiced rice pudding.
I love cooking with spices, but you don't have to just cook savoury dishes. Using aromatics and spices across desserts takes your puddings to a completely different level. First off, our spices. This is a fresh vanilla pod, fragrant and packed full of flavour. Use the back of the knife and flatten it. That removes all those little seeds off the skin of the vanilla pod. Take your knife, slice down the middle, and then when you open that up, the smell is incredible. Take the tip of the knife and you scrape inside, and look, all those seeds dying to come out. That is incredible. There are thousands of seeds still ingrained to the pod, so put them in to the casserole. Cardamom, powerful, spicy. Take 2 little pods, place your knife on top, and lightly crack them.
Cracking the cardamom pods helps release all the amazing flavour.
Cloves gives it that kind of aniseed flavour with a lot of depth. 1, 2, 3. Cinnamon stick. Snap and in. Just smelling that level of fragrance, you can imagine what the rice pudding's going to taste of. Turn on the heat. Lightly toast those spices just a couple of seconds. And what's going to happen is it's just going to sort of enhance those spices in a way that it just draws out an even more powerful fragrance. Coconut milk in. Sugar, 2 tablespoons. Milk. And then a couple of tablespoons of cream.
Bring it slowly to the boil to allow the flavours to infuse.
And this rice pudding reminds me of my time in India, where I got really into that chai tea fragrance because it was just so delicious and so comforting. Take a lime in. The lime just cuts through the richness of the coconut, gives it that nice little bit of acidity. Goes fantastically well with the cinnamon and that fresh vanilla. Nice. Have a taste. Now, let's come up to the boil. Give it a nice little clean around the outside and in with the rice.
Use 200 grams of pudding rice. Don't wash it beforehand because the starch helps thicken the rice pudding in the oven.
And just turn that down to a light simmer. And the pudding rice starts to open up and it absorbs all that coconut, vanilla, cardamom, clove and cinnamon. Bring it up to the boil gently and cook it out for 3 to 5 minutes. Boiling it rapidly, the rice opens up and it goes into mush, so we want to keep that nice texture, that sort of fragrant rice pudding on a gentle simmer.
Next, a little luxury.
I'm going to show you how I take this simple, delicious, aromatic rice pudding to a completely different level. Here's what I do. Take 2 egg yolks, separate them. Now give that a really nice whisk. 2 nice tablespoons of mascarpone cheese. Whisk that into the egg yolks. Just so it's nice and smooth. It's almost like finishing the rice pudding in a delicious custard. Turn off the gas, add that into the rice pudding. And what happens, it starts to enrich and really thicken this rice pudding and takes it to a completely different level. The rice is still not cooked, but starting to go nice and soft. You can just see how it's opening up. But look, it's like rich, aromatic lava bubbling away.
Finally, grate more citrus zest.
The lime on top. Roasted, caramelized lime zest on top of a rice pudding is phenomenal.
Then put it in the oven for 15 minutes at 200 degrees to finish cooking the rice and develop the intensely aromatic flavours.
Look at that. An incredibly fragrant rice pudding. How beautiful does that look?
Spices are a brilliant way of helping classic dishes come alive. I'll guarantee you'll never ever have had a rice pudding like this before.
Next, my tricks of the trade and kitchen tips.
First, how to zest a lemon.
The important part is not to zest any of the pith. Watch the following technique and I'll show you how. We've got these original graters. Really important when we use this, we use the fine zester. Not the big rough one, not the one for slicing, and not the other one for grating. This little one here. Onto a plate, because it's always easier to lift off from the plate than it is the board. And the most important thing about zesting a lemon is nice long strokes, but twisting the lemon round. Every time we go down, we twist. Same with the orange and same with the lime. Little tap If you go too far, let me just show you. Look, you've got that white, bitter pith that destroys the wonderful, zesty flavour. And look, that's what we're looking for there. This really nice, vibrant lemon zest. Delicious.
Garlic is a key ingredient in so many spicy dishes. My tip for finely chopping and mincing is to add a pinch of salt for abrasion, which helps break the fibres of the garlic down for a much better result. For getting the most out of root ginger, simply remove the skin using a teaspoon. It's easier than using a knife, and you can get around the tricky bits. Or just keep the skin on and give it a good wash. Never throw out vanilla pods. There's a ton of flavour left in the skin. Stick inside jars of sugar and leave to infuse. Great to sprinkle on cakes, biscuits, or porridge. When grinding up spices, if you have any left over, you can store it in an airtight jar for up to 2 months. Great for a spicy kick to have at your fingertips. Next time, my ultimate food on a budget. How to make the most of your ingredients.
Get that pan really nice and hot because this is a cheap cut.
Great money-saving kitchen tips
This is where you get so much more bang for your buck out of sausages.
and more incredible and cheap dishes to stake your life on.
And that is a perfect way of taking a cheap cut into the Premier League of dishes.